Hi everyone, happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight to your news at 9.
One of our local senators is working to create the Minutemen of Missouri, an armed volunteer group that could be called on by the governor in times of crisis. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Plus a warning from the Better Business Bureau about fake COVID-19 vaccination cards.
President Biden offering some insight into how he views the filibuster and its future in the Senate. I'm Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill with reaction coming up.
Doug Heddy has weather tonight. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Proposed legislation in Missouri would create a registry of armed volunteers who the governor could put into action in times of major crisis. Harkening back to the Revolutionary War, they would be called the Minutemen. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the story.
The term harkening back to the Revolutionary War could be put to use in Missouri.
It's an avenue for people to volunteer to respond to a state emergency.
Legislation introduced by Senator Bill White would create the Minutemen of the state, a registry of armed volunteers who the governor could put into action during a crisis with the consent of a majority vote. White explains that emergency would be one of civilization-altering magnitude, in which state and local agencies would benefit from coordinated volunteers.
There's a book out there, 1 Second After. It's about an EMP attack. Could easily be a solar flare. Same thing, a large electromagnetic pulse. If you all of a sudden completely lose your electric grid in Missouri, where your average everyday citizen's like, okay, I want to help do something.
Volunteers would be required to supply their own firearms, ammunitions, and other supplies, which would, from the time of signing up for the registry, be considered property of the state. An idea the owner of Brandon's gun trading company doesn't like.
That can be actually confiscated by this government body, and I can't think of too many people that are going to want that to happen.
White says that in amendments that were recently filed, that fear is being addressed.
We have a list of things that cannot be taxed, cannot be seized, no registration requirements.
He also explains that since the equipment would be property of the state, it would help protect gun owners' Second Amendment rights, even from federal actions.
The federal law is not nullified, it's just not applicable. What we own, the federal government can't tax and control, vice versa.
In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Senate Bill 528 was introduced by Senator White in February. The first committee hearing for the bill is on March 30th. Doug Heddy joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Beautiful evening, beautiful sunsets, everything.
Yeah, beautiful day. I mean, all week long has been kind of crummy. We've had a lot of clouds and showers just about each day, but today was fantastic. We had sunshine, 71 for a high. Cool start at 38 during the morning hours. We had some real thick fog for us last night as well. We do have some thunderstorms out there, but these are mainly just northwest of the region. But this is the beginnings of the storm system that will start to affect us by tomorrow evening as it rolls out into the central plains. But at least for now, we look pretty good. Temperatures still sitting into lower 60s, so no complaints there. We'll drop back to about 51 later on tonight. Even warmer for us tomorrow, but we do have to talk about thunderstorm chances. We'll do that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug Heddy, thank you. Every adult Kansan will be eligible to get a coronavirus vaccine starting Monday. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly made the announcement today. She says beginning Monday, every Kansan age 16 and over will be eligible. Kelly says it's thanks to the anticipated increase in vaccine supply from the federal government. As of today, more than 35% of adult Kansans have already received at least one dose of COVID vaccine. The vaccine rollout has coincided with a drop in cases, but there are concerns that the numbers could again rise as variants begin to spread. In a news release today, Kelly said, quote, "I strongly encourage every Kansan to get the COVID-19 vaccine so we can get back to school, back to work, back to normal." The Regional Better Business Bureau is warning of a scam involving fake COVID-19 vaccination cards. As some businesses and local governments consider requiring proof of vaccination to enter certain buildings, scammers are taking advantage. They are listing fake COVID-19 vaccination cards for sale, but when the victim pays the fee, no card is sent.
Better Business Bureau wants to remind people that obviously it's not truthful, it's not honest, it's not ethical to purchase something saying that you did something that you didn't. And also on top of that, the problem is that you're paying money to a scammer So the scammer is going to have you pay online. The scammer can then charge your credit card, your debit card for a lot more money than is actually on there through a payment system, and then it's near impossible for you to get your money back.
The sale of fake vaccination cards has been reported in Springfield, among other cities across the nation. President Biden moved the COVID vaccine goalposts on Thursday night, and now public health officials are scrambling to fulfill his promise. Fox News correspondent Molly Lyde has more now from Boston.
200 million doses in the first 100 days. That's the new goal set by President Biden as public health officials are scrambling to get shots into arms. More than 87 million Americans have already gotten at least one dose, and the daily average is up to about 2.5 million. The White House says we'll have to meet or exceed that number every day for the next 5 weeks to meet the president's goal.
That is the equivalent of vaccinating a sellout crowd at Yankee Stadium 50 times a day, or the entire population of the city of Houston in just one day.
Another key will be making sure supplies remain stable. The White House says Pfizer and Moderna are expected to hit their target of supplying 240 million doses. And Johnson & Johnson is ramping up production as well, with 11 million shots ready to ship out next week. Now the focus turns to outreach and education as health officials work to win over skeptical members of the public, with vaccine hesitancy a growing concern as the rollout expands.
The greatest fear that we find is the fear of the unknown.
Meanwhile, the CDC is warning a new surge could be just around the corner. The daily average of new cases is up to about 58,000, a 7% increase this week after months of declines.
We know from prior surges that if we don't control things now, there is a real potential for the epidemic curve to soar again. Please take this moment very seriously.
And eligibility is expanding as well. 46 states now say they'll allow all adults to become eligible by May 1st. In Boston, Molly Lyde, Fox News.
Major debate happening right now in Congress regarding the future of the filibuster, a tool used to allow the minority in the Senate to block legislation from advancing. In his remarks Thursday, President Biden signaled he is open to reforming it, arguing it's being abused right now. Fox News congressional correspondent Chad Pergram reports now from Capitol Hill.
If there's complete lockdown and chaos as a consequence of the filibuster, then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about.
President Biden addressing questions from reporters on the filibuster and whether Senate provisions block his ability to advance legislative priorities. In recent weeks, Senate Democrats spoke about the need to reform the filibuster or ditch it altogether, no longer requiring 60 votes to advance legislation. Some of the biggest items on the table include immigration reform, gun control, and voting rights, which would require Republican support to pass.
We wouldn't have to have this debate about the filibuster, at least on this issue, if the folks on the other side would do the right thing and stand for voting rights and vote the bill up.
Senate Republicans disagree with their arguments. They point out Democrats supported the filibuster when they were in the minority. In a statement, Republican Senator Ben Sasse wrote, quote, "Now that President Biden looks in the mirror and sees FDR, he's keeping the door open for a complete 180 to blow up the institution he spent 4 decades defending."
It's really on Republicans in Congress to decide if they're going to be part of the solution or if they're going to be part of obstruction.
Democrats now lack the votes to kill the filibuster. Democrats Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema want to keep it. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Leon James served in this Army from 1938 to 1941. We are proud to thank Private First Class Leon James, native of Girard, Kansas, by the way. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug Heddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Crowder softball aiming to keep the offense rolling against State Fair Community College. Gonna have highlights in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a fantastic Friday for us. No complaints at all. It wasn't too windy. Temperatures just about perfect as we went into lower 70s for afternoon highs, which, hey, we'll definitely take. And again, tomorrow we're going to have really good temperatures as well. Looks good right now. This is a live shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but it looks pretty good out there. Look at our temps. I mean, it's a significant warm up from yesterday, only upper 40s, and then we added on, almost 30 degrees warmer for us during the afternoon, about 25 degrees. 61 Fort Scott, 61 Independence, Miami at 61, 61 as well. Carthage, Monette, one of the cool spots at 59, but nobody's really cool. It feels great. It's a fantastic evening. Nice little southerly breeze out there, which is going to continue through the overnight hours. But currently, we are sitting at 62. Southeasterly winds, 5 to 10. Humidity is at 60%. And most of us have clear skies. Now, there are some clouds out there in our northern counties and northwestern counties, mainly on the Kansas side. And this is due to the beginnings of our storm system, which is starting to get organized. So with it, you can see showers, even some thunderstorms, even a severe thunderstorm warning just to the north of Topeka, Kansas. But these storms are going to continue to work off toward the north and to the east. You can see they kind of stretch back along I-35. Now, a couple of these guys, you can see how they're developing just to the east of Wichita, may clip our northwestern county. So from Eureka to Yates Center, maybe even Iola, could get a random little stray thunder shower over the next few hours. Besides that, everybody else is going to stay dry, and we're remaining for the main wave out across parts of Arizona, and that will start to affect us tomorrow. So let's go through time. Here's 11 p.m. You can see a few scattered little hit-and-miss guys in our northwestern counties. Everybody else is fine. We drop back into the lower 50s. Nice warm up tomorrow. I think even warmer than what we saw today. I think most of us are going to go into the mid-70s. 51 to start, 69 by noon. High temp is 75. The winds are going to be a little bit stronger tomorrow. They'll switch to northwest late in the day as a cold front rolls in. So we're looking at 4 p.m. The front is sliding in right along the I-44 corridor. Now with it, we're going to get some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And some of these could be strong, maybe low-grade, severe hail and wind makers. Not a big severe weather event by any means, but they'll quickly roll out. And the best chance to get thunderstorms tomorrow is going to be along and south of the I-44 corridor. These are gone by mid-evening, clear skies tomorrow night. We are going to be a little bit cooler behind the front, so on Sunday, not as warm, but it's going to be a nice day. We're still going to have sunny skies, and high temperatures are going to be near 60 during the afternoon. 75 tomorrow. Great day to get outside prior to some scattered thunderstorms. 60 Sunday, 68 Monday, more thunderstorms by Tuesday.
Good weekend to go outside, get some yard work done. You know where I live.
Yeah, what time are you going to be here in the morning? You probably need to mow, maybe lay some grass seed, something like that.
You beat me to it, man. You beat me to it. All right, we'll see you a little bit. Thanks so much. Coming up, devastation further south.
Severe storms and tornadoes slamming the south. I'm Charles Watson in Ohatchee, Alabama. I'll have the latest coming up.
At least 6 people are dead after severe storms and tornadoes swept across the southern United States. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has more from Alabama.
Oh my God!
Severe weather ripping through the southern U.S., leaving a trail of devastation behind. Some 24 tornadoes reported across 5 states, claiming at least 5 lives in Alabama and 1 in Georgia. Officials say one of those tornadoes was on the ground for more than an hour, traveling nearly 100 miles.
It's unbelievable. But we're blessed we're still alive.
Relief efforts are underway Friday as communities begin to assess the damage left behind by the long tracking tornadoes. In many areas, trees and power lines are down and homes have been left completely destroyed, even lifted off of their foundations. Some of the worst damage seen in Calhoun County, Alabama. One man there was lucky he wasn't home when the tornado struck, but today he is suffering an unimaginable loss.
My sister and her husband and one of her daughters perished back there. One of my nieces in the same house, she's in a hospital.
Now Calvin and his family face the challenge of rebuilding, but he says he's just looking to take it one day at a time and take care of those in his family who were injured in the storm.
Making sure they get put where they need to be at, and then probably try to pick up the pieces from there.
Thousands remain without power here in Alabama and Georgia as more severe weather is forecast over the weekend for parts of the South and Midwest. In Ohatchee, Alabama, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Well, just ahead, airlines looking forward to one of their most important takeoffs.
Leisure travel is taking off. I'm Grady Trimble with Fox Business in Chicago. Coming up, we'll tell you where the popular summer travel destinations are as more Americans get vaccinated.
Anticipating a leisure travel boom this summer, all of the major U.S. airlines have announced new routes in recent weeks. The news comes as air travel numbers are picking up. Fox Business Network's Grady Trimble is at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport with more.
This is about as busy as O'Hare Airport has consistently been since the pandemic started. At this point, more than a third of American adults have gotten at least one vaccine shot. More than 47 million are fully vaccinated. We've been talking to people here today who tell us, you know what, I'm fully vaccinated, or I'm at least part of the way there. So for the first time in about a year, they feel comfortable getting back on a plane and seeing family and friends they haven't seen in so long. And the TSA numbers back that up. On Thursday, March 25th, 1.4 million Americans went through TSA checkpoints across the country. That's a lot when you compare it to the same time last year, or even when you compare it to 6 months ago. Not nearly as much as pre-pandemic levels in 2019, but good news for the airlines nonetheless. We talked to a gentleman who flew into Chicago from New York. He told us he's spending Passover with his elderly relatives now that all of them are vaccinated.
I feel that I'm able to visit with people that I love without endangering them and without any sense of guilt in my mind.
The airlines are expecting a leisure travel boom this summer. All of the major airlines adding additional routes to new destinations or places that they used to fly to but had to trim back because of the pandemic. United most recently announced these locations. Down south in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, those are expected to be popular travel destinations this summer, as well as some spots in New England and the Mountain West. Some good news finally for the airlines as people start to plan trips again for the first time in a long time. In Chicago, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Yeah, I'll go to Hawaii. Yeah. When we come back, going to check out Pepsi's new flavor, Peeps Marshmallow Soda. Here. First of all, the Easter Bunny is coming in a little over a week. Yes, it's a real thing. And springtime is now upon us. So Pepsi has teamed up with another bunny. Pepsi is teaming up with Peeps, making a marshmallow flavored drink right there. The limited edition soda, quote, combines the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Cola with a pillowy, soft, and sweet Peeps marshmallow flavor consumers love. Beverage comes in mini 7.5 ounce cans, but it will not be on store shelves. Rather, the only way you can get it is through a social media promotion. It asks fans to use the hashtag #HangingWithMyPeeps or hashtag Pepsi sweepstakes and tag Pepsi on Twitter and Instagram to enter. Winners will receive a 3-pack of the marshmallow drink. I would give that a try, you know, and that's why I'm kind of disappointed that it's not going to be in the store shelves. I'd give that a try. From what I read, it tastes just like marshmallow, too. Peepsy. That's the name you guys like, right? Peepsy. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
As allergy season approaches, how can you tell the difference between allergies and COVID-19? I'm Bronte Sorotsky, and we'll have that answer coming up.
Democrats and Republicans travel to the border to get a first-hand look at the immigration surge. I'm Ray Bogan with the details coming up.
Some of us have allergies year-round. For the most part, though, allergy season for a lot of people is approaching, and some common symptoms may be confused with COVID-19 symptoms, or the other way around, for that matter. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with an infectious disease physician about these different symptoms.
Flowers are starting to bloom, indicating that spring is here, and it means allergy season is too. But what's unique about allergy season this year, it coincides with a pandemic. Nicole Sleeman, infectious disease physician with Mercy Hospital, says those who suffer from seasonal allergies are familiar with their own symptoms, as they experience them annually. But when new symptoms present themselves, it could be concerning.
But if there's any fever associated with it, or they feel like they're worse than usual, or associated with headaches, or some other symptoms, especially with the loss of taste or smell, these are clues that there might be something more going on, and COVID would be definitely a concern.
For those who suffer from seasonal allergies like Kyra Gerard, it can be hard to tell whether allergies are flaring up or if you've contracted the virus.
last week, I thought I had COVID, but it was allergies, they told me. So they just gave me some meds for my allergies.
She says the trouble comes from both conditions having similar symptoms.
Yeah, because the symptoms are like really similar between COVID and allergies. So I do kind of get worried because I'll think that I have COVID, but turns out it's just allergies.
Although masking has helped us gain protection from COVID-19, allergies are a different story.
Because the mask is not complete, it doesn't filter all the allergen. I mean, they cannot stop all the allergens in the air to get into your nose and mouth. So you're still breathing a lot of dust and allergens, and so that definitely your allergies will act up.
Sleeman adds that it's hard to differentiate between the two, and it's always best to err on the side of caution, meaning wearing masks in public and social distancing. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Always a good idea to see the doctor if you are experiencing symptoms and are unsure whether it is allergies or COVID-19. Joplin Manufacturing Company is hiring an additional 60 workers. Thermal Engineering International makes heat transfer technology for power generation, as well as oil, gas, and chemical industry equipment. Because of a rise in sales, the company is constructing a new facility and will need 60 more workers. Those jobs will include welders, machinists, heavy lift operators, quality control inspectors, and maintenance.
You know, we're trying to bring in a lot of different quality assurance, material handlers, and welders, fitters, roll operators, several different varieties of different employees that we need here, which will actually bring more revenue to the Joplin area.
TEI's new facility will be around 18,000 square feet. Neosho, Missouri city officials are ironing out the details for this year's Celebrate Neosho event. The festivities will happen on June 26th in the town's square. Last year's event was canceled, so the city wants to focus more on local businesses. They're offering local businesses and vendors the first choice to be part of the event. It's a decision which not everyone is happy with, though.
I think everyone understood last year, but they were pretty disappointed that there wasn't the festival. So I look for a good turnout and for people to really come out and celebrate.
Some of the activities they are considering include a bike race, fishing derby, and a car cruise. Students at Seneca, Missouri Elementary are celebrating their reading efforts. How fun! Students and their parents were encouraged to read a chapter of Mr. Popper's Penguins together every night. Now that everyone is finished, students this week have been having some themed fun. It all culminated today with several activities aimed at helping students learn about the science of the Arctic and foster a love of reading and learning.
We know that families are busy. We know they've got a lot going on, and sometimes reading kind of gets put to the side. And so we really just want to encourage kids to read with their families. We want to encourage parents to read with their kids. And so picking one book for the whole school seems to be really engaging for our families.
Earlier this week, students sent out flat penguins to family and friends around the world. They see how far they would travel, with recipients asked to post pictures. That's a neat idea. Good for them. Lawmakers from both parties visited the U.S.-Mexico border as the Biden administration struggles to handle an influx of migrants. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has this story.
Thousands of migrants continue to cross the border into the United States, many crossing over the Rio Grande by raft to immediately turn themselves in to Border Patrol agents.
This is the idea of bringing me and my family. Hopefully, the U.S. government can help us.
Members of Congress say passing immigration reform will require bipartisan support, yet they traveled to see the conditions separately.
We can call it whatever we want. Our job is to help fix it. And so that's what we are focused on. That is our job. That is our responsibility.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar saw the conditions and says she understands why immigrants make the journey because she fled violence and was granted asylum in 1995.
This isn't about politics, and it isn't about playing games. It's about the humanity of these children.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz and a group of Republicans were on the border overnight.
They've been shining their flashlights at us. They're yelling at us.
They shared video of a group crossing while being guided by smugglers, and this photo of an arrow Cruz claims was put in place by the Biden administration near the Rio Grande River to show immigrants where to go.
What is occurring here on the border is heartbreaking, and it is a tragedy. It is a man-made crisis. This was avoidable.
There are more congressional delegations scheduled to travel to the border, which will increase pressure on Congress to pass immigration reform. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Dozens of people are dead after a train crash in Egypt. 2 trains collided Friday, forcing some carriages to derail above a channel of water in the city of Tata. Egypt's railway authority says the 2 trains collided after someone activated the emergency brakes, causing one train to plow into the other. The impact caused 2 cars from the first train to flip over, as we're seeing there. At least 32 people were killed. More than 65 others have been injured. Egypt's aging railway system has a history of poorly maintained equipment and below par management. A bit later, one type of elephant in real danger.
African elephants are approaching extinction. I'm Jackie Ibanez with the latest report showing the grim future for these gentle giants. Straight ahead.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Friday for us today. Temperatures were fantastic all week long, kind of chilly. We've had the on and off showers, but today we were nicely rewarded as our temperatures into lower 70s. Plenty of sunshine. It wasn't too windy across the region, so we'll definitely take that. Looks good right now. Great live shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But look at the warm-up. Yesterday, we hit 50, and then we really sat into the upper 40s. And then today into lower 70s for highs. Tomorrow's even going to be warmer than what we saw today. Still feels pretty good even. 61 in Lamar, 60 in Oswego, 60 in Anderson. Iola, one of the cool spots at about 56 degrees. The winds aren't too strong, just kind of a light southerly wind at about 5 to 15. It's going to stay a little breezy tonight and then again tomorrow ahead of our next storm system, but that just kind of helps our temperatures warm up. Currently outside, 62, south winds 5 to 10, humidity is at 60%. Most of us have clear skies, but our northern and northwestern counties, they do have some clouds due to some showers and thunderstorms just northwest of the region. In fact, this is the beginnings of our next storm system, so you can see these thunderstorms getting going really from about St. Joseph, just north of Topeka, and then stretching back through central parts of Kansas. And these showers, these thunderstorms, some of those are going to be a little bit on the stronger side, but they're going to stay mainly northwest of us. They may clip our northern counties, but that should be just about it. So we don't have to worry about much tonight, but as we head into tomorrow afternoon, that's when our chances for rain will start to increase. So let's go through time. Here's our future track forecast, hour by hour. So about 11 p.m., here shortly, you can see a random little thunderstorm. If anybody got a thunderstorm tonight, it would be Yates Center, Eureka, Iola, those regions, our far northwestern counties. These skirt to our north. Everybody else stays dry. We drop back into lower 50s. Through the daytime hours tomorrow, nice big warm up into the mid 70s, which we'll definitely take. And then a cold front's going to roll in late in the day. We'll start at 51, 69 by noon. High temp is 75. Northwesterly winds at about 10 to 20. Now, late in the day, after 4 p.m., the front's going to be right along the I-44 corridor, and we are going to start to see some showers and thunderstorms popping up. Some of these may be a little stronger, maybe low-grade severe wind and hail, but I'm not very worried about these. And they'll mainly be along and south of Interstate 44, and then quickly push out of here and we clear out tomorrow night. Sunday's going to be cooler, but it's going to be nice. We're only going to top out at about 60. But we're going to have the sunshine. So it's going to be a pretty good week. And besides that little small window of thunderstorms tomorrow evening, it looks pretty good. Warming right back up near 70 on Monday. Much of the same on Tuesday. And then another front rolls in, giving us chances for showers and some thunder showers again Tuesday into Wednesday. 75 tomorrow, 60 on Sunday, 68 on Monday. And then much cooler by the middle part of next week.
Absolutely. I just keep saying that. Absolutely gorgeous day in store for us tomorrow. 70-something degrees. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks
good
pretty
job,
good.
though,
Get outside and enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Coming up in sports, this opening week for junior college football. Going to have highlights from a top 10 matchup in Independence. Plus, Carl Junction baseball aiming for a 4-0 start tonight at Joe Becker Stadium. Jacob Leonard is up next with details.
Well, this week is opening week for junior college football. The JUCO season was pushed back from fall to spring due to COVID-19. The Independence Pirates open up tonight at home with a top 10 matchup against Butler. Indy's number 9 in the nation. Butler is 7. It's the first game for the Pirates under that dude, Jason Martin. The big start for Tavion Thomas. Thomas gets around the far side for the 5-yard touchdown. Independence goes up 7 early. The next Indy possession, here goes Thomas again. Big pickup here, 24 yards. He would get to finish off the drive again. Brock Doman finds Thomas. He's in from 7 yards out. Independence leads 17-0 after 1. The defense also getting it done early for the Pirates. Chris Welch flying in for the big stop. Indy leads 17-3 at half, but this one turned into a good one. It's right now it's 24-24 going to the fourth quarter. The Coffeyville Red Ravens, they got a tough one to open up the season. They're on the road against Hutchinson, the number 1 team in the nation. We got a little weather delay going on here, but Hutchinson leads 19-3 at half. The Carl Junction Bulldogs are off to a hot start this season. The Bulldogs are 3-0, and they've outscored their first 3 opponents 34-7. CJ back on the field tonight at Joe Becker Stadium in Joplin, aiming for a 4-0 start against Hollister. The top of the first, Landon Richards drives it into center. That loads the bases, and it sets up this. Clay Kemp poking it the opposite way, brings a runner home. Tigers lead by 1 after 2. The top of the third, Colby Teester, sack fly to center. Hollister pushes the lead to 2-0. Now to the bottom now, CJ trying to get on the board. Kyler Perry hits it to right. Almost made a play out there. Brings home 1. Bulldogs trail by 1 after 4. Then in the 5th, Alex Baker, RBI ground out, ties the game up at 2. Tigers, though, big 7th inning to pull away 8-3. The Crowder College softball team is 25-2 this season and has climbed up to number 16 in the national rankings. Now, Crowder had no problem scoring this year. They're one of just 7 teams in the nation to score more than 280 runs so far this season. The Lady Riders try to keep the bats going today with a home doubleheader against State Fair Community College. Cassidy Lear in the first knocks one through the gap. 2-run score. Lady Riders lead 5-0. Then, check it out, Shelby Chavers lays her up the line. That'll bring home Skylar Randall. Crowder puts up 8 runs in the first inning alone. To the second now, Randall at the dish. Base is loaded. Puts it over the right field fence. It's a grand slam for the freshman. Rough Riders finish this one off in 5. They do it 16-0. In game 2, Crowder aiming for the doubleheader sweep. Again, no problem scoring. Crowder wins it 12-0. Lady Riders are back on the field on Sunday on the road against Three Rivers Community College. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Less than 500,000 wild elephants are left in Africa as herds are dramatically thinning and approaching extinction. Fox News correspondent Jackie Bonus looks at when they could be wiped out completely if something isn't done soon.
You don't realize what you have until it's gone.
Africa's gentle giants are facing extinction as 2 species, the African forest and African savanna elephants, are being pushed to their limits by extensive habitat loss and poaching. Both types of elephants were previously grouped together as one vulnerable species, but the International Union for Conservation of Nature is now categorizing them separately, listing the savanna elephant as endangered, classifying the forest elephant as critically endangered.
Forest elephant declining by 86% over a period of 31 years, and savanna elephants declining by 60% over a period of 50 years.
Wildlife experts say putting an end to deforestation and hunting requires a worldwide response.
The solution is not in catching the poachers, but the solution lies in this entangling the syndicate criminal networks that are responsible for taking the ivory out of Africa into the rest of the world.
They're keeping it blunt, warning time is running out for these creatures.
These species are facing extinction within a reasonable time. Some say it's as little as 10 years.
In total, there are a little more than 400,000 wild elephants currently living in Africa. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Some news about an upcoming movie about the late Princess Diana. Hollywood Nation coming your way. From Oprah's new high-profile interview to a new photo of Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana. Plus, Helen Mirren takes on her first superhero movie. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff.
Shazam recruits an Oscar winner, Stewart transforms, and Oprah unites with a poet in the Hollywood Nation.
When day comes, we ask.
Oprah Winfrey's next high-profile interview will be with Amanda Gorman. The 23-year-old poet will be featured in today's episode of the Oprah Conversation on Apple TV+. She talks to Oprah about her experience at the presidential inauguration, the process of creating a poem, her childhood, and more.
Kristen, straight ahead.
A new photo of Kristen Stewart as the late Princess Diana has been released. The actress is portraying the Princess of Wales in the upcoming drama Spencer. It takes place over 3 days in the 90s when Lady Di decided her relationship with Prince Charles was no longer working. This marks the second official image from the film to be released. And Dame Helen Mirren is taking on her first superhero film. The legendary actress has joined the Shazam sequel, Fury of the Gods. She will play the villain Hespera, a daughter of Atlas. The film's lead star, Zachary Levi, responded to the casting news by retweeting an article from Deadline and telling followers, "I can't wait." In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that is our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with penguins checking out a Chicago restaurant. And let me tell you, if they were smart, they'd get a nice Chicago Italian beef sandwich. A nice combo sandwich, if you ask me. Have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.